One season in the sun on Santa Cruz Voice. Tuesday, August 11. Car Week is fully engaged at this point. You can't drive 3 blocks around the Monterey Peninsula without seeing something that costs more than your house. And I keep seeing Chris Cerny everywhere. Every event, every parking lot, every corner I turn, there's Chris. I'm beginning to believe that, like he claims the man can actually teleport. Or he's triplets, one of the two. Today, David Morton from Mecum Auctions joins us. What's new this year? What makes Mecum Monterey different from every other auction they do? What should we be watching as the cars cross the block? And we're finally gonna find out how that thunderstruck opening dance number became a thing. And apparently I have This Week in Bubbles. Rachel sent me something. I haven't listened to it yet, so I can confirm that a file exists. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. Let's get into it.
I'm going to have to talk to Lucy about that one. That one is sort of her okay best. Oh, my goodness. So we do have David Morton joining us in a moment here, so we're going to get to everything very quickly. I have Kent here.
Kent from Greater Omaha.
All right. So also, maybe we'll get to news after. He's supposed to call us here in 3 minutes, and he's usually a pretty good guy about being on time. So we'll try to work that real quick. It is me. I just don't know something about this. Why can I not get a keyboard here? All right. No, like seriously. Oh, there it is. This whole thing where the Giants are now, traded all these guys away, and I'm still questioning whether or not they're going to be able to do things soon. But and I hate to say this, but I'm almost like, well, I wish they would be really, 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 really bad, because then that, says, yeah, the guys we had, maybe we were just, we needed to jettison people and start over, but I don't see it happening in the next couple of years. I mean, I really don't. It's a thing where they are so far underwater that with the guys they have left, I don't see it. So we'll see. We'll see what's We'll see what's happening here. The folks on the Porsche event was last night. Went down there. Brought photographer friend Joey with us. He took a bunch of pictures. He says he's gonna, he sent them out. I told him, man, don't be in that much of a hurry. You don't have to sit there and, work all night or anything. But he's gonna help us out with a couple things. Found out that we have ins on some of the things we weren't getting into this year, like Motor Lux and that new thing over at whatchamahoo's. It's the Residence Inn. Over at the Residence Inn and everything. So it's like we're like, okay, well, so we were going to try to crash. I'll admit it, we were going to try to crash, but then we realized, no, let's make sure everybody's just copacetic with this, and we're okay, and we're out there. So this is all good stuff. We do have sad news to bring us that, and we're going to unpack it all tomorrow. Our friend of the program, Hot Rod Homer, crossed the bridge yesterday after a pretty brave,
Will be missed.
fight with cancer. Sergio says he's coming, though. Oh, it is David Morton. Hello, David Morton. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Brian. How are you today?
I am doing great. It is great to talk with you guys. I know is this just kind of a weird year where you guys are coming in later, or what's going on? Because I know you were having some scheduling issues here.
Meaning, me personally, I'm coming in later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but not. I mean, more than a day, and without being on the ground. In earlier years, I would be there much earlier. In the last couple of years, because my focus is only on media relations, I'm not involved with the outreach within the community and doing all the event marketing anymore.
Okay.
So things have changed. Yeah.
That makes sense. So, our friend Kent here, he's joined us. He's in Greater Omaha, and so everybody's remote today.
Hello.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And so, well, here's something. And so I have some questions here, but this is the thing that's always like kind of got me. I know that John and I talked about this a couple of years ago, but the opening of every auction is that, and this is every day of every auction. You do the Thunderstruck, and then everybody does the dance, right?
Well, yes, and that was a Dana Mecum idea about 7 years ago, that we not just open the auction with Thunderstruck, but we open the auction with a national anthem.
Yes. Oh, no, yes. Okay,
so Thunderstruck was pre-national anthem, and then Dana wanted to add a tribute to the veterans. So every day of every auction ever since, and I'm not sure when it started years ago, but we started a national anthem. So at 10 o'clock, the national anthem is either sung by Jim Cornelison, who is a opera singer out of Chicago, trained from Indiana University, and is actually the national anthem is for the Chicago Blackhawks, and we bring him in for those days that he's available. Otherwise, the national anthem is performed by a sports, and then that is followed, as you said, with Thunderstruck.
Okay, all right. So I always wonder that, and if I remember correctly, John and I talked about it a little bit, but then he was like, I'm not exactly sure how it became, and so how did the dance get in there? Was it just you got the hype thing, and then the staff thought it wasn't visual?
Well, and for listeners, when they say John Craman being that person, John Craman was at one time our director of consignments, and became co-director of consignments, then became strictly our commentator on TV broadcasts, and did that for 16 or 17 years until his passing in January of 25. So the dancing that you're referring to is actually done with Chicken George. Chicken George Dunham is his full name, but Chicken George, if anyone happens to be a Big Brother fan, Chicken George got his name because he grew up in a chicken farm, and when he was on the show Big Brother, the reality TV show, the first season and that would then be probably the first year of reality TV, Chicken George was selected on the show to be the keeper of the chicken coop, if you will. And so George, being the personality that he is, will bring in to the auction block young children, middle-aged women, and elderly women to join him up there doing his thing.
Okay.
So that dance also follows during Thunderstruck, during Thunderstruck, I should say. And it's just a thing that George started, and it continues to this day.
And so having seen this myself, and just kind of been like, and John Craman did indeed say, he was like, yes, you've got to be there on time. And I was like, really? And he says, you've got to be there on time. And I said, okay. And at that, it was like, and then I was like going, oh, okay. So if you're coming to Mecum auction, you've got to be there in the tent on time, because
by 10 o'clock.
By 10 o'clock, you've got to be there on time. And what's kind of interesting there is that I go to a lot. With the show and everything, I do a lot of sporting events, and there's times, and it's everybody's personal choice, though. It's like some people will stand up, some people will salute, some people will, some people will, do the hand over the heart and all that. But you come to a Mecum auction, and I swear, every time I'm there, there is not one person sitting that can get up. And there's not one person that is not either saluting or hand over the heart. And that's one of those things where you're like, all right. So for me, to be honest with you, I look at this and I just like, these are my people, these are my people that are just like, hey, look, you're up, you're doing the right thing. And we're all getting off on a good foot for the day. And it's kind of like, hey, it always seems to be a overall very respectful atmosphere, because you guys probably know more about it than I do, but I've also never seen a lot of crazy disturbances at the auctions, and I've been quite a few years, and it seems it's an exciting time, and you guys build exciting, but I never see any of the trouble that you'll see especially some of the nighttime events.
No, this is, as you said, it's a daytime, so our auctions will start. The doors open at 8:00 each day. Our road art auction will be of road art collectibles, automobilia themed items, start at 9:00 and 9:30 at the latest. And then by 10:00, maybe even a little earlier sometimes, we'll start the national anthem and get the auction day going. But yes, it is a daytime auction with 600 cars over 3 days. We're only averaging, as you say, 200 cars a day. And therefore we'll be done between 3 and 4 every day, and sometimes earlier, just because of the number and the pace of those cars. On Friday and Saturday, we have live TV from 1 to 5 Pacific time, and therefore then the auction will go till 5:00. But a 200 car auction day for us, I don't want to say it's small, because that sounds disparaging.
Yeah.
But we've done 400 car days in Kissimmee many years. And so we just finished our last auction. We just finished in Harrisburg. We did close to 1,200 cars in 4 days, and that's averaging 300 cars a day. So 200 cars for us is it's a light day. It's an easier day. Obviously, the price point of the cars in Monterey are higher than most auctions, so it takes a little longer than the average, 1.5 to 2 minutes per car. But generally speaking, we're done by between 4 and 5 every day. And, we're loud and we're fast. We're high energy. And we have a good time, and our auctioneers are part of the show.
Yeah.
And so, in our world, this is a day to comment, the cars, the stars. So we want the cars to be showcased and celebrated. And before that, we give a tribute to veterans and bring them to the stage with the national anthem. And while the crowd sometimes be a little late getting gathered in Monterey, because all the fun evening activities on the peninsula, and any other given day. For example, when going back to Harrisburg, we have 300 or 400 people lining up outside the door when the doors open at 8:00 every day in Harrisburg. So, when we travel across the country doing our shows, every community has a different feel. But when time for the auction starts, it's all the same people, it's the same auction staff, it's the same bidder assistants, and it's just different cars on the same red carpet.
Now, is it the same size of structure at every auction?
Oh no.
Okay.
No. Imagine an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
We do an auction at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, in March, and we use the indoor stadium as the auction arena, and then we put about 100, 150 cars on the floor, and all the other cars are outside. Our next auction after Monterey in September will be at the Nashville Super Speedway. It's the first time that a collector car auction's ever taken place at a super speedway, and we'll do that there. So the stage itself, the look, the lighting, and all the gear that we travel in 13 53-foot trailers from auction to auction is all the same. But the setting, we're trying to tent at the Hyatt Regency and on the Del Monte Golf Course. those are the 4 tennis courts that we take over. So the fences come down, the visqueen goes down, plywood goes down, the turf is put down. So we make something out of what is otherwise a tennis court. Every other venue, we may be in a convention center, we may be in a state fairgrounds, county fairgrounds, a variety of facilities, but all the actual visual, the prominence, the red, black, and yellow of Mecum are all branded the same, consistent.
Yeah. Okay, so somebody that comes to Car Week all the time, but they've never been to Mecum, what are they going to see that they don't see anywhere else?
So one of the things that has always been an outlier for Mecum is the broad selection. When we come to Monterey, the auctions are different than what we do in most other cars. The foundation of Mecum Auctions from 1988, when Dane and Patty founded the company, was always American classics and muscle cars, including Corvettes. Since then, because of the evolution of the company, the maturity of buyers, the younger generation of interest of buyers, and particularly when we get to Monterey, we have 50 Ferraris, more than 45 Porsches, a dozen Lamborghinis. So the selection of hypercars and supercars is very broad. At the same time, we're adding in SUVs, trucks, muscle cars, classics, a lot of Corvettes and things. So the mix of cars is different. But what really differentiates what we think the Mecum experience is the customer experience, is the availability of staff, the accessibility of information, the ease of registering the bid, the ease of registering and consigning a vehicle. It's that customer first focus that has always been Dana's mantra since he started the company, but it's now executed by people that work auction to auction. So we don't hire a lot of local staff. It's the same people that were in Harrisburg 3 weeks ago will be the same people in Monterey, and they'll be the same people in Nashville in September. So that experience, the customer focus, is really the biggest differentiator. And if you don't talk to anybody, you might not realize it. But if you start asking questions and directions and what about this, or where is this and things, all of our lot managers are carrying what we call our valet service, and that valet is on a tablet or their phone to tell where cars are. Once the car has been checked in, there's a QR code attached to that car, and whenever that car moves, we know exactly where it is, and it's constantly monitored, not only for security and safety purposes, but also if a potential bidder is looking to look at the car before it crosses the block, where is it in the lineup, and how can they go see it before it crosses the block?
Yeah. So, like here in Monterey, there's always some serious car collectors. Does that change what people consign here, and are they looking and what they're looking for, or even the way that you put this particular auction together?
Yes, good question. Very much so. And Frank Mecum, who is son number 3 of the 4 that Patty and Dana have of their family, he's a younger, obviously younger than Dad, but with that comes a focus of much more interest in supercars and hypercars. And so for the last, I would say 6-7 years, we've gradually adjusted the lineup, if you will, the selection of consignments. And as a result, yes, the general perception of Monterey Car Week is hypercars and supercars. You can drive up and down the coastline and see them driving, but they're the same things that are being offered at the auction houses or displayed, or product reveals by the Lamborghinis and the Paganis or whatever might be revealed and showcased and new product releases taking place. So the selection of cars in Monterey, and also for Mecum Monterey, is much more focused on the hypercars and supercars and the one-offs, the specialty cars, primarily because we're all different. There's 30 to 35 different events. We're all competing for the look of to get that audience, to get the attention, and get the registered bidders to buy the cars. So as much as for us, it's a springboard. Unlike the other auction companies that are there on the peninsula this week, we have an auction in 5 weeks after this, and another one 4 weeks after that. And for ever since 2019, when we revealed Bullet and the consignment of Bullet to our auction at Kissimmee, we've continually brought cars to the Monterey auction that are not for sale at this auction, but then are being sold at Kissimmee, which is the largest collector car auction in the world. So this year we'll have 8 vehicles that we'll announce on Thursday. They will be displayed on the fairways of the Del Monte Golf Course, available for everyone to see. Those 8 cars are the featured main attractions to go to our Kissimmee auction in January, as it's the largest collector car auction. To give you a perspective, this year in 26, the auction in Kissimmee, Florida is 13 days long. We did 4,100 cars and generated $445 million in sales.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's about $200 million larger than the largest collector car auction ever that took place. And that was 2 years ago at the same auction with Mecum in Kissimmee. So the auction grew from 225 million, almost doubled it in size. And we take over, there's 1 million square feet of tenting in that venue, and there's 4,100 cars over the spread out over 200 acres at a county fairgrounds.
That just boggling. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so our auction in Monterey has 600 cars. That's half as many auction cars are being consigned for all the other auctions. So we have half of the 1,200 cars.
Yeah.
But that in itself is less than that total is less than a third, almost a fourth of what the one auction does when we do in Kissimmee. And so we've then traditionally, as we're doing this year, accustomed having eight vehicles that are primo selections. One of, in many cases, the Bullet was revealed, the 917K that we consigned, the 250 GTO last year that we sold at Kissimmee for $38.5 million.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean, okay. So you're doing the reveal. So you're doing the reveals of the 8 feature cars that you're going to carry around with you on Thursday.
Well, they're not actually not even being reveals. They're just displayed. So we're not doing, there's no scheduled time. Hey, come check this out. It's the doors open up and the cars will be on display.
Okay. So can you tell us what some of the display carry car? You're not telling anybody till they come in and see.
You got to come see them. Yeah. No, I would love to.
Nice try.
But after once August 13th comes and the immediate release goes out and the world knows about it. But yeah, there are some cars that I think we'll be impressed by. Again, last year we had one car. It was the only white 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO that came out of the factory as white of the 36 that were made. So it was very, very special and caught fire, literally globally with the world because it is the one of one. It doesn't. Yeah. There's no other one like it. Yeah. What we have this time is our 8 cars, some of which are also one of ones that are not maybe as valuable as the 250 GTO, but definitely nonetheless very noteworthy.
Okay. So, all right. So I thought you had already put them out. No, the reveal is you coming in. So it's kind of like almost Easter eggs. They have to hunt around the lot to see them.
They'll be pretty prominent. It's exactly the same position with the 250 GTO.
Oh, okay.
It's on a stage. And that stage is probably 30 or 40 feet wide, so it'd be pretty hard to miss.
Okay.
But they'll see it on their way to the auction block.
So is there kind of like a sleeper category in this auction, something that might not get the headlines but could have everybody talking by Saturday night?
I would say yes. One of the cars that we, back up a minute. There are times when the auction industry itself, as you're saying, Brian, is looking for the next big thing. What is that? What's going to be hot? How do you monitor what's going on to be able to pick the next trend? So, for 3 or 4 years ago, we had a collection of 240 and 280Zs that are, everyone knows the word Nissan, but what many people don't realize is that Nissan not only comes from Japan, but when that company, Nissan at the time, was going to bring their products into the United States, they created a different brand and called it Datsun.
Yes.
And even though Nissan existed, they did not want to bring the Nissan brand as a moniker into the United States if it didn't do well. So they created a sub-brand in Datsun. And so once those cars, those Datsun 240 and 260Zs came about, and some of them were, again, very low mileage and very special, the market took off. In Indianapolis in May of this year, we had a consignment of a Toyota 4Runner. And we had only consigned 6 or 7 4Runners before, and the highest price point was $26,000. Well, this particular one had like 9,000 miles on it or something, and it sold for 50-some thousand dollars.
Yeah.
So the JDM category, the Japanese make of cars, there are several in that world, whether it's a Nissan brand or a Toyota brand. I've not seen too many Hondas popping yet, but definitely 240, 280Zs are sort of the outliers, if you will, to watch, because there is a Toyota, and our internet is on our website is unfortunately not working real well right now. And I apologize.
No
I want
worries.
to pull this up properly, but I want to see if I can get this car. But let me see if I can find a spreadsheet I was working off. It's a 97 Toyota Land Cruiser.
Wow.
With 4,700 miles on it. So it's just short of 30 years old with 4,700 miles on it. I did some research on it. We've sold about the same number as that 4Runner, in less than a dozen. And I've seen an article projecting it to sell for $100,000.
Wow. Okay.
So in what's happening right now, there are the laws that allow for cars to be imported from Japan. They're made over there, and on right-hand drives have to be in existence for 25 years before they can come into the U.S. Mm-hmm. And those cars now are beginning to pop. The late 80s, so. And that'd be a 40-year-old car, a 97, even though it was U.S. made, as a 30-year-old car. So when you talk about some of those early 2000 cars, and there were special cars that were made for the Japan market that never came into the U.S. market, those are the ones that are being imported. In fact, I had dinner and someone I had on Saturday night, and someone said, I own 30 Porsches, but what I'm looking for right now are the specialty Nissans.
Wow.
And he's going after them. He's looking to spend a lot of money buying them. So that's the market, the JDM category, that the collectors that are speculating, and it's a tough business to get into, because no one can predict the future, obviously, but no one can predict the future of the value of something. And so, you're not rolling the dice necessarily, but for sake of discussion, you're speculating, saying, okay, based on what I've seen in other trends, these are the cars that are going to be the hot ones over the next 3 to 5 years. I'm going to buy them at this price point with the idea of trying to sell it at a greater increase in value.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been. I've always been a buy it to drive it kind of guy, not a buy it to hold it and sell it. But I mean, I understand that's out there. I mean, do you lean one way or the other personally, or are you just kind of like, hey, we run a business on consigning and auctioning off cars, so it's like, as long as they're consigning and auctioning off, we don't care what they're doing with them.
No, well, we don't care. Honestly, we want them to buy them.
Yeah.
And we want them to consign with Mecum auctions, of course. But we do find it fascinating that someone can buy a 2005 Ford GT for $150,000 and not drive it, and come back literally 20 years later and sell it for $500,000.
Yeah, that is just kind of.
And so to have the wherewithal, not only financially, but all the speculation, to be able to be confident, because at that time in that category, the 250 GT, was not a popular and a favorable car by the Ford dealerships.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out ways to get rid of them, and which they did. But yet other people thought, no, this is a car that is replicating what the Ford versus Ferrari film is all about. And those Ford GTs from the mid-'60s that were winning Le Mans are something. This is that kind of concept car that individual believes is going to have significant value over the years. They stuck them in a garage, and we've seen some with plastic with 0 miles on them.
Oh wow!
We've seen others with a couple hundred miles, and they're still bringing $400,000. So the return on their investment is significant, but they also chose not to drive it, and that's their prerogative, right? That's what they did.
Yeah, they're for a few years they were one of the replica 250 GTs from the Ferris Bueller movie was going on the block nearly every year. Is it coming back again this year?
Well, we had one, the third one that was from the movie. We've had the Ferris Bueller sort of the prototype, not prototype, but the replica models. They come and go. What's really has been bigger, more than that, has been the Eleanors, and from that TV movie series. So and that has been debated and litigated as well. But those are much more popular than the Ferris Bueller models of the Ferrari type. But there's everyone's looking for something. If they're a collector or a speculator, trying to find that next niche, and whether it's a movie car, we have a car that was used in the hire video that Nipsey Hussle and John Legend sang in and coming to our auction. We have a car that is a Dodge Viper that was in a series that Pamela Anderson was in. So some of those celebrity cars create notoriety, but not every car like that has the provenance to increase the value.
Yeah.
So it all depends. I mean, it's in some person that we had a car. It was a Chevelle that was sung by Bruce a song by Bruce Springsteen. The car was consigned by his recording engineer, and he set a reserve, and that the reserve was a third what the actual closing price was.
Wow!
So that they never imagined what the value. They knew when they got it. It had been given to him as a gift by Bruce. From the work he'd done, but little did he know the car tripled in value, more so than he ever thought he would get out of it.
So, I mean, how much time do you have to go around Monterey and just kind of see some of the stuff that's going on while you're here?
Not as much as we'd like. I try to, this is my 12th or 13th year at the Car Week. I find, I'm a New Jersey beach kid, so as much as I love the Jersey Shore, I find Monterey to be the most beautiful place I've been in the United States. So I do try to get around a little bit. Obviously, in years past, and I think unfortunately it may be this case this year, the coastline and PCH can be shut down a little bit because of some of the fires and the smoke that we're having problems with, and unfortunately, which is really tragic. But you live in an area of the country that is pretty spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a lot of places like it. I've been to 48 states, and there's nothing like it that I've seen before, including Maine. I've never been to Alaska, so I can't really put it in that boat yet, but hopefully I will. So a little bit. I love going down to Little Napoli for dinner, which we'll do that on Thursday.
Yeah.
Going to Baja Cantina on Wednesday night. So I try to get out to the good places.
Yeah.
But we have not long days like some auction days, but I do try to get out and enjoy the landscape, so to speak. And in some years I'll bring my wife out and we'll spend an extra time after the auction and getting a chance to see it separate from the auction, because it's completely different once all of us knuckleheads leave the peninsula and Car Week is over and you get your majestic area back to the way it should be.
Well, and here's the thing, it's because people are, I always say in Car Week, you can end up in a left-hand turn lane with 2 Paganis, a Lamborghini, and 4 Ferraris, depending on where you're at. But the other side is that on a normal day in March, you can end up with 1 Pagani, a Ferrari, and 3 Porsches. So, I mean, it's not that much different. There's a lot of these things that just roll around here that live here, but it's also just kind of like it brings some of the stuff there. Like last year, there was one of the events that and I'm being a car guy, I'm sure you're aware of them. The Spikers, Spikers. They made they made like 20 of them, and there were 12 of them at this particular event. I mean, 12 of the cars they've ever built, and 20 cars they've ever built, and 12 of them were here. And that's kind of the draw of some of these events, where you can get stuff that you will never see in your lifetime. Groupings of these cars. I know Ferrari made that 499 plus one of one 296 last year to auction off for their charities, and that was an exciting thing. And Saturday night at another auction, but it's like so you guys had that white 250 that you sold at Kissimmee as kind of your coup de grace on the at the end of the auction. Is Monterey just big enough because of the draw, because of Car Week, that you don't have to have that marquee idol at the end of the auction to make it work?
Well, just a correction. That 250 GTO did not sell in Monterey. It sold in Kissimmee.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you sold it. When you sold it at sold it at Kissimmie. Yes, I knew where I was going. I just was reading something else.
Yeah. So what happens is, and I'm curious because of the comment you made about the setting in Monterey and the peninsula. I don't know what people do during Car Week or they do during the Pebble Beach Golf Tournament, if they stay in town or leave and get away because of the congestion that we're now bringing into town. But those that do stay, hopefully will take advantage of it, because this is a very special. Monterey Car Week has become the single most relevant for car enthusiasts globally.
Yes.
And so this is not just Californians driving up or people coming from out of town, because I'm flying into San Jose, and it's an hour and a half drive down.
Yeah.
Because the price point to get into Monterey and the frequency of flights is so limited. So people are coming in from literally around the world, and there's an increased presence by the Asian market, the Middle East market, on top of everything that's always been on with Western Europe. So that's significant. There's nothing like this globally. Nowhere. And I don't even know what second place would be. So I think Monterey is established as the premier. Now it's 75th anniversary of Pebble Beach Concours. It is the best car function activity around the world. On top of that, as you asked, what are the things that we build on every single day? So we don't look at, okay, it's going to be the last car across the block. In fact, the 250 GTO, when it sold in Kissimmee, was in the middle of the day. So we build an auction day around almost like a bell curve. And so we're trying to start a certain level every day and get to a pinnacle in the middle of the day, so that optimal crowd will get to that point, so that people coming in will stay, and people that know they're going to get to see that car will then stay for the rest of the auction day. So that's how we build it. And any given day, immediately, soon after the 250 GTO crossed the block, we did a collection of from the Bachmann collection. It was 46 Ferraris. One by one, it took 2.5 hours to watch 46 Ferraris cross the block.
Wow!
So it's Dana Mecum and Frank and others that are sitting at a table, aligning the cars in sequence and determining what they think is going to be the best flow to optimize the exposure and really ultimately the revenue generated by the cars and the sequence they cross the auction block.
Yeah, and because I heard people discussing that specifically last year. Is there anything bigger than this? Vegas is trying, but Vegas just doesn't have they don't have the reunion races going on around it, which there's nothing like that. Even it's an SCCA event, but there's nothing else like it in not just in this country, in the world. Monaco, they say, comes close, but Monaco is they say is more about instead of bringing their jets in, Monaco's more about people bringing their yachts in. It's the biggest yacht party in the world, but car-wise, they're saying that nothing is coming close to it. And the 75th anniversary of the concourse, last year was what 70 years since the tragic incident with James Dean, who was coming to Monterey when that happened. I think it's something that they say, a lot in the car business and, in collectors business is the provenance. The provenance of the events here, I don't think can be touched. And that's why you can put some new events in that still maintain, add to the allure and everything of the thing. I mean, so you guys don't ever get a chance to, even on I guess Thursday you're doing the auction. You don't get out to go see the tour d'elegance or anything like that.
Nope.
I wish you guys could come as tourists at one year because there is so much to see. But I know you guys put on the show. But the thing is if you weren't there, the show wouldn't happen. And it's a tremendous show. And of the car groupings and everything like that, and the cars you'll see in the auction, it's the most attainable for just average Joe schmo. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, and that's it. I think that one of the things that makes it so special, if you go to our auction for $30 and tickets are $25 off until the close of business tomorrow. So you get to come and see 600 cars, some of which you've never seen and will never see again. And so not necessarily the perception of an auction means you have to be registered to bid in order to be a spectator. All 600 cars are on display, all available within eyesight, and be able to get up and close and check them out. And then you can walk into the tent and there's seating for spectators to watch the auction take place. There's a little bit of other activities. We don't have a lot of ancillary activities like we do at some of our auctions, but in Monterey, it's a great car show and a fabulous way to take in an afternoon and watch people spend big dollars on things that they love.
Oh yeah, I mean it is. There's the allure and the nice thing about what they've done over the last, I want to say 15, 20 years, is they've added the things that aren't the super high dollar events. There's one event that is $1,000 to walk in the door. I mean, it's open to the public, but the public is not doing $1,000 per ticket walking in the door. Right. The Sunday event out at Pebble Beach is $650 just to walk in. And a lot of people would want to go, but it's maybe not attainable for them. And there's some free events there, but bang for the buck. And this will be, I think, my 9th year going to Mecum, and then 9th year in a row going to Mecum. It is attainable just for the guy that wants to take off Thursday afternoon and go. And right. And you're not having to plan your entire, monthly budget around it. And that for me has always been one of those great things about it, that the auction itself lends itself to being, and maybe, being, customer friendly for sure, local friendly as well. And, and then as I always say to everybody who's like, oh, I hate the traffic, all that, you can probably rent your house out enough to pay your mortgage if you really, hate it that much. Just to be honest with you. I do have a friend of mine who actually pays his mortgage for the year by renting the house out for Car Week. But it's, and as I always say, hey, it's probably not going away, so learn to enjoy it. So there you go.
Yeah, we're still coming back. No, you're right about the free events, and there's a little car show and other events. There's the Legend of the Autobahn,
yes,
which is a free event out in Pacific Grove,
yes,
with German-made automotive manufacturers. There's a really good event called Works, WERKS. It's
yes,
all Porsches. They'll have 800 Porsches on that golf course on Friday morning. So
the Ferraris on Ocean on I think it's Thursday, and also the biggest attended event. And they say every year it is actually growing, and it's a 4-year-old event, 3-year-old event, 4-year-old event. The Exotics on Broadway, they're getting 100,000 people. Know your way around if you're not going there. There are ways to avoid it. Know your way around. But by the way, for people who do and don't live here, General Jim Moore will get you past that, back and forth. But it's just, there are so many events that draw 25, 30,000 people, 40,000 people, and a lot of them are free. Hey, go, look at the schedule. A lot of them are free. But check them out, embrace it, because you never know when everything in the world comes to a crashing halt, and you don't get to do this anymore. So there we go. Well, David, we thank you for coming in. I'm sure I will run into you a few times over the weekend, because I know I'm coming to your place, so I will see you there. We thank you so much for joining us. Anything that we need to know on the way out?
Check Mecum.com. MECUM is a spelling of Mecum, and check out Mecum.com so you can get information. From there, you can purchase tickets. I said it's 25% off through the business day of on Wednesday, and bidder registration, and all the cars can sign, and also there's information about the other auctions in case that people are intrigued to hear more or see more about what we do at other markets. So we do 12 to 14 auctions a year, and this happens to be the most high profile one because it's Minority Car Week.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you, David. We'll talk to you later. I will see you soon, and you have a great afternoon, evening there, and we will talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right. There is David Morton from Mecum Auctions. Man, every time I talk to him, I just reminded of the evening I met John Cramen. And we met out at the Baja Cantina, and we talked for about an hour for a show there. We just recorded it on site, and then as I'm getting ready to leave, John's like, "Well, you're staying for dinner, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am." And 3 hours hanging with John and the guys from the hip hop and auto thing. I'll think of it here in a second. I actually have their koozie somewhere around here. It was just, there are car people who are pretentious. Don't get us wrong, okay? But by and large, the guys that do it for a living, and John was, of course, one of them, it just are usually the most down-to-earth people, and I have said this often. I have said this very often. There are people that you're like going, man, I wish I could live their life. They're, and people will say athletes and rock stars and all of that. John did a little bit of everything, including play in the classic rock band. John Cramen, excuse me, was the guy who I wanted to live his life, because dude, he was just so freaking cool. So man, Mecum is near and dear to my heart. They became my priority piece over a lot of other things when we started interacting with them a little more. And you know what? They are just, don't be late. Be there at 10.
Yeah.
I wish they would do it at 10. I wish they would start it at 10 and restart it at 3, but they don't. But maybe they should. Maybe I should suggest that.
I mean, you can play a video at 3, maybe.
No. They should be like, we're going to, for those of you who weren't here, and see, I did not realize that Chicken George was on Big Brother, so now I gotta chase that down. So, all right. So There we go. Is there any news?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Got a little news for you.
It's that time again, where everything's breaking and nothing's fixed. Local storms, weird politics, and someone's emotional support iguana stealing the spotlight. That's your news with Kent from Greater Omaha.
A Santa Cruz teenager who became a real-life beach hero is getting some recognition from the people who played lifeguards on television. 16-year-old Ryder Anderson was on duty at Seabright State Beach on July 25th when he jumped into action to rescue a 10-year-old boy caught in rip currents and waves reaching 8 feet. Now, the television series Baywatch has recognized Anderson for his bravery. The show's stars praised the young lifeguard for putting himself in danger to save a child. Anderson reportedly spent nearly 2 minutes battling powerful waves before another lifeguard arrived to help bring the boy safely back to shore. So that is pretty exciting to have. It doesn't say which version of Baywatch, so I don't know if it's like a 70-year-old David Hasselhoff.
No, it's the new show. No, they have it as a new show.
That makes a lot more sense.
They have it a new show.
Okay.
You know, we'll stop with that there because we're going to get to a couple other things before we get out of here. So let me see. Let me. God, I haven't heard this, so let me try it.
It's perfect weather for blowing bubbles. The world burns in the rearview glass. We laugh too loud to hide the trouble. It's perfect weather for blowing bubbles.
All right, that's that. It's weird exactly how well I can go to or how fast I can just look at that and go
this week?
to exactly where I want, because I'm just going to the file. I haven't cut that down. I just go to the file and I'm like, I think it starts right there. The score starts right there.
Kids call that a needle drop.
I know. I mean,
That's some hip lingo. It's either hip or hep. I don't know which one's hip
it's
or hep.
Hip hop to hip to the hippie, the hip. No, wait, no, I can't do it. Hold on.
The opinions expressed on this program are those.
No, okay. So let's see. We'll play it. We'll play it. We'll see what happens here. Okay.
In Bubbles, the second Tuesday, 11th of August, 2026. Tomorrow's forecast: 100% chance of bubbles. I am Rachel Mariam Smith as Bubblicious, and just like always, it has been perfect weather for blowing bubbles and producing a rooftop bubble bar.
Okay. For a segment that we're hoping is like a minute and a half, that was 24 seconds.
Nice.
All right, well, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got.
Last week, school started. Also, Sunday Fire legend Marley Moves came out to celebrate Michelle's birthday, and Mother Song families came for bubbles at the lighthouse.
Okay. Hold on.
Sick recap.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views of Santa Cruz Voice.
37 seconds before before anything about bubbles was okay.
I like it.
All right, here we go.
Fire plus bubbles plus toddlers. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm thinking.
Huh.
Okay, hold on. We're going to think on the radio real quick.
What could go wrong? Okay,
yeah.
Mm.
All right,
Saturday, I filled Stanford's Frost Amphitheater annual corporate event for a third time. The theme was orange, so for 4 hours I was basically a human phantom machine with an MFA. Later that night.
Well, what's a... is MFA a drug?
I don't know. That was way too in universe for lingo. I have no idea. Yeah. Also,
what's MFA?
And what rhymes with orange? Get Eminem on that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which, by the way,
none of these are good. None of these that I looked up are
Party
good. So we're
producer
going to move on.
Brandon Ishida took me to Mutant Zoo Feathers and Fur at the Bach Shop.
At the what?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to the rest of it. I'm going to listen to the rest of it later because I am concerned that there may be issues that I need to there. Okay, so here's what we are going to. Yeah, here's what we are going to do though. We are going to play the Homer song in tribute to Homer's passing yesterday. Sergio says he's coming because he understands the brand. I will talk. I mean, Sergio and I had both. Oh man, it's unfortunate. This is going on, and a pretty. I don't want to say disrespectful. It wasn't disrespectful. I mean, there were some of the things that we were just kind of very non-serious about this. That I'm telling you, Homer had a sense of humor, kind of like Darla does. Mm-hmm. And Homer would have dug some of the things that I was talking to him about. So we'll talk about that there. But in the meantime, we will play the Homer song. We will get on out of here, and I will go try to catch some car week wherever we can. So y'all take it easy, and full song on the podcast, and anywhere you can get podcasts, One Season in the Sun. And we will talk to you later. And there you go. And let's check this out.
Take it easy.
Everybody knows his name, but his little terrier, Homer, steals the whole game with a bark and a grin and a sparkle in his eye.
See the difference.
Rolling down the street, he's the king in disguise. Oh, everyone loves Homer, the terrier in his ride, cruising through the city with Sergio by his side. Oh, Homer's got the style, and he's always stealing the show. Everyone loves Homer, everywhere they go. From a bright yellow Dino to an F1 on the strip, Homer's got a car that's ready for the Vegas trip. Wherever they wander, folks stop and say hello. Homer's the star of the street.